Hi, fans of high quality live chats. I'm just checking my Facebook for a second. Make sure it's set up there. Glen Kellaway from the basement. He actually was on, but I think he was having some kind of issue. But he should be on in a minute. All right. How's everybody doing? There's Glen. He's back again.
I couldn't get the.
I don't want to hear any excuses. Every time.
The Logic camera, it said it wouldn't recognize that the device is hooked up.
What? So you're using your old one?
So I'm just on what I was on normally.
That's
it. Said that I had to. It must be. It could be looking at something else. Close down all your programs and everything, but I have nothing else open.
Oh my God! So if you have an issue with it, I'll come over and look at it.
Yeah, I could. It wouldn't hook up, so I just unplugged it.
That's frustrating.
Really frustrating.
Yeah, because you look so good on that other webcam. Right?
That's where I've been for the last 10 minutes, Larry, trying to figure the frickin' thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I just gave up. So okay. I still look good though in the dark. So
well, yeah.
In 480p, I look pretty good.
Paul Ayers, can't wait for you to see my fall song. Yeah, for Patreon, he gives me a song to listen to and review. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I should be able to do it tomorrow, I think. Fine Music is doing good. He's always finding music.
He is.
Good evening, Mr. Muffin.
Cape Cod Ken.
What's that? Yeah, Cape Cod Ken.
Wonder where he lives.
Huh, no idea.
Yeah.
Tony MC. He's an MC.
Yeah.
We should make a joke about everybody's name.
He's either in a motorcycle club or he's master of ceremonies.
Patrick, great. Hope you are too. Gerard Frayne. Hey, guys. Larry and Glenn, the best duo ever. Like even better than Simon and Garfunkel.
Even better than Abbott and Costello.
Laurel and Hardy.
Dean and Jerry.
Stephen Rod Van. Hello, guys. Good to see you.
Larry, I got to tell you, I got pissed off this morning. I did a video this morning and I screwed up. I plugged in my headphones that I always use with a mic and do it, right?
Yeah.
I plugged them in and then I forgot to put them on. And I did this like 15, 20-minute video. And I didn't watch it before uploading it.
Yeah.
And I upload it. And then like 10 minutes later, I go back into the video to see if anybody's watched. And I got one comment from this a-hole.
Yeah.
And if you're watching, you're an a-hole.
Yeah.
His name's Patrick something.
Yeah.
And he's only commented on my videos twice. And both times it's when I've had a glitch of some kind.
Yeah, I've had that kind of a viewer too.
He's not interested in comment about music or anything like that.
Anytime there's a mistake, right? They pick it out or you mispronounce something.
Told me I need new equipment. And,
that was actually me under another account.
I deleted the video, but I'm going to do it again tomorrow. But
So what was so when you're using your earphones,
it has a microphone in the cord.
Oh, okay. And you forgot to do that.
I plugged them in, but didn't put them on.
You're not a professional.
No, I'm far from it.
I've actually got a microphone, Glenn, an old microphone that I don't know if you could plug it in.
It doesn't work on my iPad though.
Oh.
And so here's the other thing. I tried to download one of those free software programs so I could record off my laptop. And it says download it. It was actually Rob at Northern Revolutions who gave me an absolutely free one. And I went on. It looked like it was kind of cool. So I went to download it. And it made me download some driver thing on my computer.
Yeah.
And then when I went to use the driver thing, it says I got to pay $9.99 a month to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah. But so, I think there's got to be, I would still ask around. There's got to be something that's totally
I need you to come over and help me, or I need to bring my laptop over and we got to get this figured out.
I've been subscriber. You've been subscribed to me. Is that what you're trying to say? Thank you.
Subscribers. He's out of the 42,000 subscribers you got, he's 41,999 of them.
Wow. Little Larry looks like a young Elvis there with that smirk. Yeah, thank you.
Quit smirking, Larry.
Barry Bowman, hey.
Hey, I did send the invitation to Mazzy, but I never heard anything from him.
I wrote to him too.
And I even texted him because last time we were on, he said, "Oh, text me. You got my number." So that didn't work.
Well, it's good though. Like if there's only like me and you and maybe one other person, I can keep up with all of the.
He did answer me. He said, "Thanks. If I'm home in time, I'll jump in and talk."
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. The Men They Couldn't Hang. Add that to all-time band names. Oh yeah.
Then They Couldn't Hang. Add that to all-time. That's kind of an interesting name, actually.
I've been a subscriber since 2009, I believe. Glad to see you're still posting.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you, Colby B. Yeah, I've been posting I haven't stopped.
Wow, he is 11, carry the 4.
14 years.
14 or 15 years he's been watching you.
Yeah, but the way it sounds, it's like he hasn't watched in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's here.
He made it.
He accepted the invitation.
God, you just pull me back in. I'm only here because of this, because Sparky here wanted me. Sparky, all he wants is the friggin' Sparkies.
That's the only reason he wanted to invite you on.
Yeah. You can leave now. You showed the album.
Well, I'll wait. I'll go ahead.
Mazzy, he sends me an email. He's always like, "Did you see Mazzy's video? He talked about the new Sparks album."
And I posted in a couple of Sparks groups on Facebook.
Ooh, Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky.
I tell you, I've listened to the album 4 times now.
Yeah.
Just since the week, since Friday. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so catchy. It's one of their more, I don't know. It's one of the catchiest albums. All their music is accessible, catchy. Yeah. Very electronic, obviously, and very upbeat. I mean, maybe dancey a little bit, but not so much dance than just electric, catchy, like 80s music with not the BS of 80s music. And I like some 80s music, but I really like this. And I love the title.
Yeah.
Is that whatever which way it goes?
Yeah, their last couple of albums I've really loved too, but this one I think I've already played it more than the last two. I just enjoy it that much.
Yeah, it got me going right away. So
Cool.
Hello, Glen.
Hello, Mazzy.
Glen.
You told me to email you or text you, and I did.
You texted, you email. I got a drone outside.
Yeah, I had somebody from Uber drive over and knock on your door.
There's a base hanging on a drone in front of my house.
Yeah.
I'm from Canada.
Basically, what Maz is trying to tell you is don't contact him at all.
Yeah,
No, I like it. Yeah, this is good. I was out most of the day today, and it was it was perfect. It's fun. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The Paul Weller journey is going great. I've got all of his albums now. John and Paul. Yes, John and Paul. Are you guys live? Nope. This is pre-recorded.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're a couple of us. We're senior citizens.
Still here.
In the Great Northwest.
Soon to be very senior. I got the big 7-0 coming up on the 23rd of June.
I'm going to be that really great sexual position in August.
Yeah.
It depends on your I shouldn't go there. I got to be polite here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 69. So.
I never even got that reference.
That's a cool name. Sunil Ramshni. Love your comedic vibe, Studmuffin. Thank you. I've got a vibe, Glen.
I've heard that. You can get medication for that, Larry.
Yeah. Hello, Jesse McNeil. We're doing good.
So Mazzy, I saw your video with all the new records on it, including the Sparks one, and Larry saw it too.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a week with so many great albums come out?
Well, not that I just almost every
time?
single one just bowled me over. Now, obviously, This one came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's part of it.
And I read that you read, or in the video, I said, I got that greenish, whatever, the Amazon exclusive. I like to do support my locals, but for whatever reason, I didn't order it because it was exclusive. I just happened, it was easy. I clicked it. And I went through 2 copies, and this is a quiet acoustic based album. And it was really like there was surface scratches. I even put it through my Humming Guru thing, and it was still that. And for some albums, I'm really forgiving. I'm not one of those anal persons. There's a click, I'm getting rid of it. But so I actually went down when I was out today to my local and got the black one, and I played side 1. Got a little thing here or there, but it's much better. So I don't know if they're having some issues, but and I don't have a problem with colored vinyl. Someone mentioned in the comments they got a copy and theirs is fine. Oh, so great. But I got 2 in a row, so I didn't want to, try a third. So
I bought it on CD, so I can't speak to the vinyl, but it's I love the record.
It's just it's not a song, as I said in the video. It's not song based like 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, all that stuff, which I love. It's a I guess
I find it hard to dance to.
Well, I'm from San Francisco, so we would do all those like Grateful Dead dances. You totally do that. Yes.
It is. It's a really good album. It's really nice. Guitar,
I do
beautiful, the vocals.
Dan, I do use a moving coil cartridge. I got a Hannah ML, and it's very forgiving actually. And I get very few bad records. And if I get a few little things, and if I have an issue, I don't clean all my records, but if I have an issue on older records, and I cleaned it, but I cleaned that twice, and it was like grind static, as if it was a record that's been played for years. I don't know. So, yeah.
What's a really good deal you guys have gotten like for?
Well, the best deal is when I got caught stealing the Monkees record in 1967, but that's
but you got caught, so that wasn't a good deal. What about the times you shoplifted and didn't get caught?
Yeah,
that was the good deals.
I got caught right away.
I shared a story just yesterday, as a matter of fact. One of the very few times I stole anything, and now it's the statute of limitations are over. I remember, and I never stole a record from a record store because I liked record stores, but I stole a record from a Woolworths, and the record was Trout Mask Replica, like in the month it came out. And I got it, and I didn't get it. I hated it, so I brought it back, and I got my money back actually.
Oh, that's funny. It turned in.
And I didn't let you take it.
They probably saw you stealing it and went, "Oh God!"
In those days, there was no camera. I mean, and it's a record is a big thing. Yeah, I think I had this. This is what 1969, 8 when that came out, whatever. So I was 13, 14. I had one of those corduroy safari coats that are long with the thick belt, and you stick it in there. So we shouldn't admit this.
Jeez. No, I got caught stealing more of the Monkees when it came out in 1967 or whatever year that was. Right away when it came out, I got caught. Then I got caught, jumped by about 4 security guards, and it was a nightmare. Wow! I never stole anything after that.
Did you spend a year in the pen?
No, they called my parents. That was even worse than a kid.
Bad. Yeah.
Did I need receipts back then? I don't think. I just said I got this as a gift, and I mean, I either got my money back or I traded it for something else. I don't remember, but I basically,
brought it. Probably from Costco. They don't ask for receipt. You just take it back.
Yeah, but this was the old days. No cameras, and they always had the record department Woolworths like back in an area. It wasn't like prominent, like things now maybe. But so,
Glen, what's a good deal you got on
I've got a great deal going right now, Mazzy. You might be interested in this. There's a Charles Mingus 8-album box set coming out in the end of June. And I was on the Hoffman forums, and they were saying that Amazon.ca was selling it for $127. So I went on and looked because I was curious. And sure enough, 8-album box set, $127. So I thought, I'm going to jump on this. So I grab it, and like 2 days later, it was up to it's almost $300 now, 200 and some dollars. So that's my big recent steal if it shows up.
Yeah. mean, recently, can't think of anything recently. I did get that. I mean, this is not recent, but and it was expensive to begin with. I bought that Vinyl Me Please Grateful Dead box. It was like $400 or something, and I got it. And it was numbered edition. It's a heavy box, big slipcase, and it was split down this. So I got it through DeadNet, Grateful Dead, not through Vinyl Me Please. And they said we don't have any more of the boxes. And I said, well, can you cut it in half the price or refund me half? And they did. So I got half back. So I got, what is it, $200 back on. So for that big box, it was great. And then 3 months later, I get all of a sudden out of the blue an email from Grateful Dead said, oh, we found an extra box here. Do you want it? It's clean. It's unnumbered, but we'll send it to you free. And they did. And
Wow.
so I have a perfect set that I got half price. So
Wow.
that's a lot, but it's a big box. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Vandergraph? I've never listened to them.
I've never had VD.
Yeah, me neither. I used to hear them in the store when I worked in record stores, but I never owned their albums. So,
what are your thoughts on Elton John? Do you consider him one of the best? Yes, but I'm not a big fan, but yeah, he's one of the best artists.
His 70 albums, especially, I mean, from 69, 70 to up until, for me, Blue Moves, but every album before that, he had one of the greatest runs in pop music ever. After that, it's hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Andy, hi guys. I can't stay, but I just wanted to say hi. Have a good evening. Thank you. Mazzy. The Kraken had an admirable season. Admirable.
They did.
Yeah.
They were getting up there.
For a first-year team, they did great.
Yeah, they did pretty good.
And I love the jerseys.
Yeah.
They got a great jersey.
Scraps.
And I'm surprised you're not wearing. I know you're a Seattle guy, or a San Francisco guy, but you need a Kraken hat.
And yeah, I have a Kraken shirt because.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not a big sports guy. But I grew up with the San Francisco Giants. This is their last few years. It's called Creamsicle.
Yeah, that's a nice hat.
It's their Tuesday home game hat because Giants are black and orange, and it's always black. So
cool.
I'm not a huge sports guy though, but yeah, love the Giants.
The chocolate that you got? No, that is definitely right, Glen. No,
what's that? Is that a story you told about the chocolate that got you high? A true story?
No. I was just joking, right, Glen?
Yeah. Larry does nothing stronger than tomato soup. That's it.
And lemon water with ice. Looking well for your age.
Well, thank you. Oh, he meant you.
Maybe he meant Mazzy.
All of us.
Oh, there we go. We already been there.
I answered that. Yeah. Music. I mean, a Hannah ML MC cart on a Riga RP8 turntable.
Yep. Thoughts on Harry Nilsson? He was a great talent. Loved him.
I love Nilsson. Yep.
And he could hold his liquor. You already know that too.
Yeah, I've been reading it. Sorry,
Yeah, don't read ahead. That's cheating.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Hey,
sorry.
Your panel.
Oh God.
Panel.
Oh wait. Sorry.
We've been downgraded to panel.
That's okay. I've been on too many streams lately. I need to retire.
What is your favorite song from Van Morrison?
Oh.
Anything from Astral Week.
There's a ton of them, but I think Madame George is my favorite song.
I agree with Madame George. To me, it's albums. To me, Astral Weeks and Saint Dominic's Preview are my two favorites
too.
Yeah, and I'd say in terms of a hit pop single, Brown Eyed Girl is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite is Stay Off of Facebook.
I won't get it. I won't get the friggin' jab twice and open up my friggin' club.
I his last, maybe not his most recent, but the ones before it, I'd read the song titles, right? It was all this negative, like
Oh, he was
political
really
crap,
wait,
right?
him and
He's
Eric,
a wanker.
him and Eric Clapton made my wankers list for during the pandemic, definitely. Yeah. And I like Van Morrison. He was the last show I actually saw before lockdown, and he played like 4 or 5 nights at Yoshi's in Oakland, and it was like a club scene, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Very blues. I mean, all the songs he plays now kind of jazzy bluesy. He'll do all the, not all the hits, but he'll do Moon Dance, which is obviously a jazzy song. But he do a lot of stuff, and it's got like a bluesy jazz.
That would have been cool to see him in an
it's
venue
great.
like that.
Yeah, he doesn't really talk to you. He's kind of rude, but I mean,
Yeah. I saw him at Massey Hall during the Astro Weeks tour when that album came out.
wow.
And he never, I don't think he even looked at the audience once. He had his back almost to the audience for the whole time, just playing with the band.
He didn't come up on stage, Glenn, and say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen."
Van Morrison, no, he was
Hello,
very
Toronto.
very low key, I would say, to be polite.
Bob Marley fan.
Yes. Exodus, my favorite Bob Marley.
Deuteronomy. That's the
Blind Faith, yes, that's one of my all-time favorite albums. Doc, hey.
The MLB season. Well, being a Blue Jays fan, I've been pretty disappointed so far because they're not living up to their billing, but they just swept the Mets in New York 3 straight games, so I'm happy again.
Warren Zevon, yeah, he's great.
Love Warren.
fan.
And he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Don't get me started.
I'm a big Zevon fan.
Yep.
Yep.
The Who fan, yeah, Ryan. Yeah, nothing wrong with the Who. They're putting a Tiny Tim tribute band together.
Yeah, Tiny Tim was awesome. He was great.
Oh, that's John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
John, I think you're
record-
good at that.
Yeah, that first album by Richard Perry produced is so good, actually. Yeah. He did. Have you ever heard that cover he does of "Girl," the Beatles' "Girl"? Later
No.
on,
No.
towards the end of his career, and he goes back and forth with these 2 voices. He goes the low voice he can do, and the high Tiny Tim voice.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm trying to think what band he would back them up there. It's just
There was a lot of people, like he hung out in some pretty cool circles. He hung out with
He was
Zappa.
respected.
And,
Yeah.
People had respect for him.
I still remember him on the Tonight Show, like
Oh,
in
God,
the
yeah.
80s, I think. And he did "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" And by the end of the performance, he was withering on the floor, and Johnny Carson looking, look at the way you look at the camera, like.
He got married on the Tonight Show.
I was going to say that him and Miss Vicky got married
Yeah.
on the Tonight Show.
I've never really listened to Naked Eyes
Never heard of them.
I don't know them.
or Kevin Coyne.
I've heard Kevin Coyne, but I don't really know Kevin Coyne. No.
I didn't see the Kinks live until 1987 or 88 at Massey Hall. That's the only time I've seen them.
They were kind of more of a stadium arena band then. Yeah, it's a little different. But they were good.
Mm-hmm. I like the Dog better.
Yeah.
Toto is funny. Those musicians are so great. There's the Bracauer
Mhm.
brothers and stuff, but their music bores me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really boring.
It's almost too clinical.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're great, But I feel the same way about Journey too. I mean, they're
Me too.
and they're from San Francisco, but they're sort of that,
Again, clinical, like you say, it's all clinical.
Yeah, they're really good, and I get it, and I love a single here and there, like when they use the Sopranos "Don't Stop," but just a song here and a song there.
How many more times for me?
Drum work. Wow, that's a tough one. How about 4 Sticks?
Yeah. Favorite Kinks album is Arthur.
That's my second. I think Village Green's my first, but Arthur, they reverse a lot for me.
I'm starting to really like Power Man now.
Yeah.
Before it was Village Green, but
It's my second
Lowland
favorite.
Power Man are really good.
The Man Band. I do like. They're a Welsh band, right?
Yeah.
I have that double album they did. I have the one with the fish, the Mad Magazine like cover, of the Alfred E. Newman cover, and they did a great album live with John Cipollina from Quicksilver Messenger Service that I have. That's really good. But I don't know. Aside from that, I don't really know a lot about them. But I do like those records.
Idols, I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Glenn's favorite group right here.
I'm sorry. I'm in the minority here because everybody loves ABBA, but I just don't get it.
Well, you're wrong. You know.
I know.
Yeah.
I've never seen Roadhouse. Your thoughts on
Roadhouse.
Radiohead?
But Jeff Healey's in Roadhouse.
Yep.
Great
I liked
Canadian.
earlier Radiohead the most, more rock oriented. But
I
they're
only know
great.
OK Computer, which I like. That's the only one I really know.
Kid A is my favorite.
Yeah, good pick. Hey,
I wasn't
James.
really into
James.
The Fix. Yeah, Buddy Holly was good.
How can you not be into Buddy Holly's music?
Yeah.
Imagine what he would have done if he kept going, man.
Yeah. He would have
Never
done.
really listened
He
to
probably would have done a duets album with Tony Bennett.
And of
everybody
course,
else did.
David Grohl would have sat in with them at some point too.
Exactly, Tony Bennett and everyone else.
Yeah,
I love Tony Bennett. Now, obviously, growing up in San Francisco, I saw him a bunch of times perform, and then he'd sing a lot for opening at Giants games, and
he left his heart there.
He did. I did too, but I just didn't sing about it. That's all.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm a terrible singer.
If you like traditional bluegrass music, this is a new album came out, Mighty Poplar. It is fantastic.
I don't know
it. I don't know if you know the Punch Brothers or
I know the Punch Brothers.
Noam Patilny, who plays banjo, and Chris Eldridge are both in the Punch. That's their side project.
Okay, is it on Nonsense?
Traditional bluegrass music, and it's outstanding. Great record, brand new album.
Huh. All right.
It's Gene. Hello, Gene. Pow.
Hi, Gene. Larry, so how you, Mazzy, Larry and I are we used to do a CD exchange all the time, and we started it up again this week. And we gave each other 5 CDs. I'm just curious how you're progressing.
I listened to Kurt Weill.
Yeah.
One time. He is definitely a stoner, isn't he?
I gave him watch my moves.
I like Kurt Weill, but
I do too.
I'm not sure yet, of my opinion of it. I need to listen to it more, of course.
Have you heard the album he did with Courtney Barnett?
Yes, I have that.
It's a good record.
It is a good record.
Yeah.
I was listening to Kraftwerk, Larry. I'm telling you, twice I've listened to it because the first time I just didn't.
I was wondering. I didn't know if you'd like it or not.
And the second time today, I listened to it today, and I got a different opinion of it now, and I got to listen to it with headphones because there's a lot of it that's kind of like got the whole lot of love effect going on. It's swirling all over the friggin' place. So I'm going to try it with headphones on.
Yeah,
like a phase shifter type thing, or a.
No, they're just how a whole lot of love in the middle of it is all.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that Kraftwerk album is like that. It's called Autobahn, the album. But it's a hard listen for me. But
what's your favorite music year? 1969. I don't know. I guess
it's hard to tell. I mean, 67 just because that was a transition thing for me, but 69 is great. 72 is great. I mean, there's some 80 is great.
Glenn, what's your favorite year?
I always say 67, but then I look at all the great releases in 69. But I'm the same with Mass. Like that was a real seminal year for me, 67, with the music that came out that year. So
I mean, Sgt. Pepper's Ristic Pillow, the first Doors album, Love album, the Byrds, Younger Than no, not Younger, the other one, the 5D or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, so much great stuff.
Yeah, that's when the world really started to open up.
Well, that was when albums were kind of, I guess, Revolver started a little bit, but '67 was when you really started thinking about full albums rather than singles stuck on an album, sort of.
Music Talk with John. I recently did a link 20 songs video. Can you guys link 10 off the top of your head? No, I don't want to work.
That would hurt.
John always wants us to think.
Yeah, that's too much work.
Yeah.
We're senior citizens, John.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you, Gene.
Morphine. I've heard the name, but I don't know the band.
They're great. They're I saw them in San Francisco a couple of times, and they're unusual because it's what is it? Bass, drums, and a saxophone. That's it.
Oh wow.
And there's a couple albums, a live album. I think not Real Gone. What's the that did those Monkeys albums recently? That does limited editions. Oh God, that label that does. Anyway, and the main guy died a few years after on that, but they were really good. You might like them.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, they're kind of post-punk, but they're interesting. It's hard to construct. No one sounds like them, really.
Have you listened to The Comet Is Coming yet?
No.
No. By who?
That's a band called The Comet.
Oh, I thought
Is
you were
Coming.
asking me.
We had the incredible Arthur Brown on a live chat with us one day, and the question was asked of him, "What music are you listening to?" And he mentioned this band called The Comet Is Coming, and I checked them out, and it's a saxophone, drums, and keyboard, which is mostly synthesizer, and they play the most incredible music. And the band's called The Comet Is Coming. Check them out. Really interesting stuff.
What was that other band? That's
why, and I just gave Larry the CD.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. But what's the other band you gave me? Because I did listen to that album.
I gave you Charles Mingus.
I listened to that, and then
Dawes. Dawes. D-A-W.
Yeah, I listened to that once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But check out The Comet Is Coming. They're incredible. They got tons of stuff on YouTube and that.
Okay.
Yeah, Rough Mix was great.
I like that album. Yeah.
Really good record.
Yeah.
Glen is riding on the Autobahn. I want Elton John live in Australia.
Well, he's not coming. Although I don't know if I like that live album. It's almost too polished, that one.
Joni Mitchell was big for a while and well known for a while. I mean, 70s into the 80s, but then I think some of her audience left because she was doing this jazzy kind of stuff, which is really interesting, but it wasn't pop music in the same sense. And I think some people just didn't follow her. But I mean, that one album, what is it? With Court and Spark was huge.
Yeah, it was a huge album.
That's 76 or 77 around that point. Yeah.
Is she making a new album now that she's kind of back a little
Well,
bit?
they're putting out, she did this live appearance at
Newport.
That's what it is. It's the Newport Folk Festival,
okay.
or the Folk Festival.
And she's going to be playing she's going to be playing at the Grange.
Well, I watched some of those videos, like it's Brandy Carlisle and all those sort of the new grass country artists. Jason Isbell's wife, what's her name?
Mrs. Isbell?
No, she sings too. Not Emily. She has some good albums. She's really talented too. She plays violin and sings too. But anyway, it's from that show where she's sitting in the chair. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it, but I have a lot of Joni Mitchell. I love her.
Yeah, I'd like to hear her do a new album, like with new songs. Be cool.
My favorite bassist is Paul McCartney.
Ooh, so many.
Yeah, I like a lot Jack Cassidy from the Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna a lot, but there's so many, right?
Tony Levin is my favorite bass player from
he's great.
Crimson and Peter Gabriel and everything else. He's a great bass player.
They do get credit sometimes on their album. I think they do.
Well, they do. Like I think the new album, for instance, it says, where is it? I was reading it this morning.
It's got to be their concept at least.
Yeah, art direction by Julie Viasak, photography. Yeah, they have a lot to do with it because they produce it, they mix it, programming. I mean, they're really hands-on.
Yeah. How many songs would your Beatles' greatest hits have on it, and how expensive?
Mine would have 210 songs on it, or 207, or what is it? Their catalog, somewhere around there.
Mine had every song except for "Don't Pass Me By." I would leave that off. I don't know why. If people ask me, that's my least favorite Beatles song.
Really?
You're in a car crash and you lost your hair. Really? Really, Ringo?
Mine's Good Night. I don't like Good Night.
Yes, Amanda Shires. I'm sorry, I went ahead. Amanda Shires is Jason
okay.
Wife. Sorry.
Yeah, Ricky Nelson was great.
Oh, yeah, he was classic. Great songs.
Yeah, and James Burton played guitar with him. Also played with Elvis Presley and Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris. Really great.
4A label releases a lot of monkey stuff. But that's not the label you were talking about that did the...
No, it's the one, the one that for a while people would vote and they'd put out like an edition depending on how many people. They did the first two Monkeys album with the expanded extra one.
I have the debut one, but I didn't get
Not Real Gone, but it sounds like that. They did Morphine one. They did I forgot what else.
Big Fart 275.
Is that his 275th Big Fart? Is that is tomorrow? If he has gas tomorrow, will it be 276? Is this a countdown or?
I've heard of the band Fishbone, but I've never listened to their music.
I've never heard of them.
Here is a crazy question. What is the greatest hits LP ever? Sly and the Family Stone. Greatest hits.
Okay. Now, a lot of people will say Eagles because that's the biggest selling record. I would say One by the Beatles.
Yeah. That one, or I really like the Tom Petty one too. Tom Petty Greatest Hits. Just action packed.
Unfortunately, One didn't have Strawberry Fields. They couldn't quite push it in. They kind of fudged a certain thing. I am going to the Pacific Northwest bands. Never mind. First of all, that's the early stuff. I'm not a big grunge fan. As much as I like Nirvana, I'm not a big fan of Pearl Jam. I get it, and to me, Pearl Jam in Seattle is like a sports team. Everyone's going gaga over, which is great. They're really good for the city and everything. The early stuff. I mean, Kingsmen I knew growing up, but I didn't realize they were a Pacific North band. The problem with the Sonics, I mean, a lot of people like the Sonics, and they're still popular here in terms of their old stuff. And for the first time, I listened to the black and white covered album. I forgot the name of it. And as good as it was, there's like 3 or 4 covers that every other garage band did. I don't know, Louie Louie, and I forgot what else. And to me, for that, I know it's probably sacrilegious, but for Pacific North band, I think Paul River Raiders kicks ass, even though they're considered more lightweight, whatever. Better songs, of course. I guess the Wrecking Crew played on some of their earliest songs. I just love them.
Yep. You're a big fan too, right, Glen?
Supertramp?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Supertramp. I've been listening to them a lot recently, actually.
Does Mazzy live in San Francisco? Does he have room for guests? Molly Rose. That name. That sounds familiar.
Is this your Molly Rose?
Yes, it's my Molly Rose.
Okay.
It's not your Molly Rose.
I don't live. I'm not trying to. Yeah, sorry, Molly. When
he'll get an address now.
I have a guest room here in Seattle. I'm in Seattle now. I do have a guest room. I lived in San Francisco all my life, and 10 years ago, come February, I moved to Seattle, and I have a guest room. I have 2 guest rooms now, actually. But in San Francisco, I lived there all my life. Never thought I'd leave, but no more. I go there twice a year still. Yeah. But if you ever come to, if anyone ever comes who I invite, not just anyone stays here, you have to do a whack-a-mole with me. And that's record pulling. It's not some dirty, sketchy thing.
Oh, damn, I'm not coming then. It's just records.
Well, I mean, it depends. It can evolve from there or whatever.
Okay.
It starts with records, 5 random records. We talk about them. We usually make a martini first, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think that was a very good record from what I remember. I had it when it first came out, that Live in Australia record.
Whidbey Island. I've never been to Whidbey Island. My friends go to Whidbey Island a lot. Yeah, I'm in Seattle. I'm in South Seattle, the Columbia City area by the light rail.
Margot Price.
A lot of people are big fans of her. I've never listened to her.
She's on that thing with like, I think Joni Mitchell with all that kind of the new country, whatever they're called. I don't know. Not Newgrass, but you know. In fact, was she part of the? She was part of the Highwaywomen. That's a good record.
Nathan East. Who's he with?
I don't know.
Bass player.
Yeah, Amanda Shires. Yeah.
Don't know the name.
The Residents. Yeah, I like them.
They're pretty wild. They're San Francisco Bay. They moved from. Is it Oklahoma or Texas or something? But they started their whole collective arts thing in San Francisco.
Run for Your Life. I can listen to Run for Your Life. Agree with you about Tony Levin. You never know what Bob. You never know what Bob.
He makes shit up. But you talked about. I know.
Who's gonna say he did? He didn't. Wasn't there? You know.
This is great. This
fantastic.
Now I got bitch slapped. Can I say that on your show? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
On my video because in error I said this was his touring band, but I'm wrong. I didn't watch the.
That's Actors or something. And
it's Actors, and it's people like Don Was and all these. Great musicians on here. This was the video they did during lockdown, which I didn't see. And what's weird about there are no credits whatsoever. Who's
none? Yeah.
Which is
there's suspicions that it's just his touring band with them.
Yeah,
like Greg Lee.
That's what I thought, and so I said that, and I got corrected.
I've been told that starting next week, PBS is going to be showing that video.
Yeah, there'll be like 64 pledge drives, like Peter Paul Mary video was. Was available.
Yeah.
You get PBS up there? You get our country's PBS up there?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we get Buffalo.
We get everything.
We get the Buffalo PBS station in Detroit, I think.
Hi, I'm Ian Tyson for PBS.
Yeah. No, we get your PB, like the US PBS.
I get it.
Yeah.
Do you donate for Pledge Night?
Never.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see this one way or another. Is there a video or a Blu-ray available or not?
Not yet, but like I said, it's going to be, they're broadcasting it, and I understand it's going to be streamed somewhere too, like whether it's Apple or whatever, it's going to be on a streaming service.
Okay, I'll watch it definitely.
Yeah, but it is a great album. I must have played it. I got it 2 days early. I got it last Wednesday.
Ooh, you're so.
And I've been playing the crap out of it. I bet you I played it 10 or 12 times. I just love it.
It is good. It's good band. I mean, it's just nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Eagles.
There's so many good greatest hits on. That's a good question. You know what? ABBA's greatest hits is great. I mean, that's. But at this point, it's not just the greatest hits. There's like a double greatest hits, and there's the ultimate greatest hits, and there's a CD version with extra tracks greatest hits of all these artists.
I'll tell you who put out a great greatest hits album in the last couple of years is the White Stripes. I Thank You and My Sister Thanks You. It's called double album. It's really good. It sounds amazing.
So how did you distinguish? And it's an obvious question probably, but a greatest hits versus a best of. Obviously,
well,
one hit.
The same, isn't it?
One's hit makes the charts. Best of is subjective, I guess.
And I hate when they make a greatest hits album and then they add a new song at the end of it. To sneak some new song on that you don't really care about.
That's why you have to buy it.
It ruins the whole thing.
Didn't they on that Tom? You were talking about the Tom Petty one. On one of them, they added on a version of Something in the Air.
Something in the Air, yeah. Which actually does a great version of.
It is a good version, yeah.
Favorite bands of the 90s. That's around the time I stopped listening to newer bands.
Yeah, name a band from the 90s.
Well, Radiohead kind of started at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Beck. You know,
Yeah, me too. I'm a big
Beck
Beck
would,
fan.
to me, Beck's my favorite artist of the last quarter century in terms of a single artist. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm really into Beck now. I like his stuff.
Because he's really creative. You know,
Yeah.
even if I don't like every little thing he does, he tries some things. You know,
Yeah.
every time he breaks up.
Lucinda Williams kind of came around in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Me too.
But she always sounds like every record she makes, she adds like 4 or 5 marbles in her mouth. She's singing.
She has an autobiography coming out
Does
very
she?
shortly, which
I
should
heard
be
she had
interesting.
like an aneurysm or a tumor a while
Yeah,
back.
she had some kind of a stroke.
I didn't.
So she can't play her guitar. She just stands and sings now. But for a while, she couldn't even do that. So
Yeah, Oasis is a good band for a copy band.
I know a couple of guys who are jumping through the screen right now at you, but
I saw Oasis in a San Francisco club too, called the Bottom
Really?
Hill Club. They first toured. It was like a club of not even 200 people.
Wow.
You know.
Have you ever heard Jutka Toll and Finish?
No.
jazz guitarist, no.
I like the name though. Yeah, Jack's Record Shack in the Lower Haight. You know who worked there? Roy Loney worked there. Who I worked with Leroy at ABC Records, but he was an original member of. If you heard of the Flaming Groovies,
Yep.
Yeah.
out of San Francisco. He was in the first version of the Flaming Groovies, and then of the late '60s, like Snazmataz and those records. When they reformed and they put out the records on Sire, the more jingly, jangly pop kind of Birds and Beatle covers, he wasn't in that. And then the late '80s, he started Roy Loda in the Phantom Movers, but he worked part-time at Jack's Record House. It's like on Pierce, I think, Pierce Street. Did you live in San Francisco? Who was that? Who asked that question? I'm sorry. Gene, did you live in San Francisco? Obviously she did. Yeah, I lived on for a while Broderick and Hayes, which is kind of walking distance from there.
It was amazing. Like when the Beatles albums came out, right, Glenn? Like there's nothing else like it. No other band, right?
So I used to live like a 10-minute walk from this mall, it was like an outdoor shopping mall, but it had a department store called Simpson's there. And one night, back in those days, you didn't get heads up the Beatles albums were coming out.
We didn't have the internet.
And I walk over there and I go to the record department, the same store that I stole the Monkees album from. Actually. Yeah, everything comes full circle. And I walk in and I see this Beatles walking across the crosswalk. I go, up a new Beatles album. And I didn't have a freaking dime on me. And I ran home as fast as I could. And I begged my dad for like the $4 or whatever it was at the time for the album. And he gave it to me. And I ran back over and grabbed it and played it. And oh, man. Yeah.
We were talking about Sgt. Pepper recently again, which and it's hard to explain to someone. I mean, some people think, oh, Sgt. Pepper, I'm tired of hearing. Oh, it's like one of the greatest albums. And I totally understand that after, 56 years. But at that time, when that record came out, there was nothing else like it. I was 13, I guess, just before I turned 13. And it was so different. It was head and shoulders above, I don't say above, but different than anyone else. Even though people were experimenting a lot, it seemed really magical. And you can't even compare it to anything now because people do so much creative stuff. And the cover and the art and all that. It's unbelievable. We sound like old farts talking about it like that, but it was very unique, know.
Is there a record store in Seattle that sells relatively a lot cheaper than the others?
For new are all about the same. Occasionally, the closest to me is Silver Platters in Soto. They're great if you're into CDs. They have a massive used and new CD section. Used records, they're fair. They're kind of cheap in some of their used records. They're not expensive, but they don't have a great used section. Easy Street's one of my favorites in West Seattle. not particularly cheap. It just depends. I mean, records have gone up, and a place like Seattle's probably more expensive than some places in the country, you know.
What is your favorite underrated band? I'll say Wire.
It's a good choice.
Glen.
Underrated. I'm going to say Tedeschi Trucks Band. I don't really think they get the love they deserve. I never hear other people talking about them.
Underrated. I mean, Little Feat, Calexico. But I mean, they got a cult following, both of them. So I mean,
Yeah, that's I'm calling bullshit on Bob on that. That's just,
Glen Kellaway says Bob Dylan's an asshole.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, I love him. I'm wearing a Dylan hat tonight, actually.
Hey, Glenn, don't be an asshole to me.
Yeah. Favorite underrated band, maybe the Free Design. I've never heard of them. They must be really underrated.
Oh, Free Design. Okay, do you like sunshine pop music, like say the Association?
I'm walking on one of those kind of things. Or?
Well, kind of, but they were on a label. You've heard of those albums, Enoch Light, like Provocative Percussion, Persuasive, those dot-covered albums, late Bachelor Pad, Ping Pong Records, Left and Right stuff. He was really into Command Records, real, like, great high-fidelity stereo separation. Well, Free Design had like 3 or 4 albums on one of his labels, and it was all that like perfect 2 men, 2 women harmony.
Oh, right.
Very, very scat-like. Kites Are Free is a song they did, and it's a guilty pleasure, but it's really good. If you like that kind of the Association and very, you know, multi harmonies, like the Beach Boys, even maybe.
Interesting.
Or the Mamas and Papas, but not as earthy.
There's Jean's answer to you, Mazzy. She's from Seattle, but visited, and Roy took me out record shopping.
Yeah. Yeah, Roy, he was a nice guy, really introvert. Even when I worked with him, he was so quiet and so introverted. And, you know, last time I saw him was at actually a Ray Davis a solo show at the Warfield in San Francisco. And he died, 3 years ago? Something like that, 4 years ago.
No, the Get Back documentary was great.
Agreed. I remember buying mint promo records in the U District in Seattle in the early 90s for $2. Yeah, those were the days, but no one cared about vinyl in the 90s. Never heard of those guys.
Oh yeah, they're
Loudon Wainwright.
I just pulled one of his records in a whack-a-mole recently.
I just sampled that Rufus album. After I watched your video, I sampled that on Spotify to see if I liked it.
Do you like it?
I have a really hard time with Rufus's campy vocals. Like he's real.
Well, it could be very
musically. I thought it was brilliant.
This record it's folkocracy, and it has all these great harmonies from Susanna Hoff, Sheryl Crow, Brandi Carlile, David Byrne sings on with them. I
gotta give it a more serious listen.
It might not be Chaka Khan, but are these traditional folk songs. Some of them are a bit show tune like that kind of stuff he does. Some of it's like Harry Nilsson. It sounds like Harry Nilsson harmony stuff. I really like it. It's probably not for everyone, but it's just a really, really beautiful record.
You caught my interest with it for sure.
Yeah, that's where, you know, when I do my videos, I got to say how I love it, and I don't expect everyone to like, you know, like I hate Supertramp. You know, I think they're probably the worst band ever in the history of our planet.
Wow, really?
Oh, actually, I don't. The one I hate worse is the one that always reminds me of Supertramp, but they're nothing like Supertramp. And what's the band around the same time? What's Logical Song? That's
Supertramp.
That's Supertramp.
Okay. What's the other band that sounds like Supertramp? Around that exact same time in the 70s.
Wow.
Oh God, what's the band? They're a little more twee than Supertramp.
Little River Band.
No, that's not Liver. I know, aren't they Canadian?
No,
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
they're
never mind.
Australian.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Same thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's like the Queen and the
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, Supertramp. Someone help me with the other band that's not like Supertramp. What's the one with the big piano on the cover? That's Supertramp too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. God, what's the
I'm
other
surprised
band?
you don't like Supertramp.
I think because that's a record that was huge when I worked in record. You know how it is. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to Rumors for like 25 years, and I love Rumors.
Yeah.
But it got overplayed. Same with Frampton Comes Alive, Hotel California. What's the band? I like Manhattan Transfer actually. What's the band? Not Supertramp.
I can't
Starts
think
with an
of
S. It starts with an S.
Styx.
Styx. I hate Styx.
Oh, I hate Styx too.
Yeah, I
Oh.
hate Styx too.
Aren't
They
they like
remind me of
Supertramp?
Supertramp.
Are they not like Supertramp?
No.
Okay.
Styx reminds me of like I lumped Styx, Kansas, Journey,
Yeah.
all those bands in the same. They all
Right.
got that same soulless kind of
See,
music.
here's now it's kind of like when you get beaten up as a kid. I've never been beaten up as a kid, but what do they call that? And you're in the army and you're fucked up, and you're out of the army.
Or the PTSD or whatever.
Right. Supertramp and Styx were like in the section in the record store right near each other. STSU, and that section, like, forget it. Everything right in that like 2-lettered area. I hate.
That's hilarious.
Patrick, to answer your question, I'll say Frank Zappa.
I'll say Zappa too. If I only keep one, it's Frank.
I think I'm gonna keep Neil Young.
Neil's driving me nuts. He's putting out too much stuff
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
He's saturating the Neil Young product as far as I'm concerned. I can't keep up with it.
Paul Simons is an excellent acoustic guitar player. Yeah, he's a really good guitar player.
Yeah.
Yes. Answer.
Larry, your thoughts on Sparks?
Oh, this is just set up on a freaking TV.
I've been a fan since 1974.
This is a setup question. You have you have plants, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, Mazzy, do you remember the Midnight Special TV show?
Yeah.
Do you know they have a YouTube channel now?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're playing Steely Dan. Actually, the very first time I saw Sparks was on that show.
Can you watch it
They're gonna
before
be playing
midnight?
a clip of it.
Can you watch it before midnight? Do you have to watch it
before midnight? But they're showing everything. It's remember Paul Williams?
Oh,
Little
yeah.
Paul Williams?
Yeah,
Little
and
Paul
he
Williams.
could not sing. Like, he was a great songwriter, right?
Yeah.
One show he's hosting and he's singing whatever. It's like so bad.
Oh, I'll watch that. Great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, King
Minnie
Crimson is
Riperton.
on it.
Loving you is easy because you're beautiful.
You know who her daughter is, right?
No.
What's the actress on Saturday Night Live? Not anymore. She was in the wedding. What's the Bridesmaids? She was the bridesmaid.
Oh, really? That's her daughter?
What's her name?
I know who you mean, but I don't know the name.
And she's married to Paul Thomas Anderson, the director who did like There Would Be Blood and all the Boogie Nights.
Wow.
And, what's her name? Maya Rudolph. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
That's Minnie
Wow.
Riperton's daughter.
I didn't know that. Manhattan Transfer. They had their 15 minutes.
They did a lot of club stuff for like decades. They were kind of like Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. That kind of.
Brian, how are you?
What is
Yeah, I
that?
like this. I hated the dorky keyboard on Supertramp.
Oh, I love Supertramp. Wow.
Well, this is where we part ways. So if you ever come and do whack-a-mole, you're never going to find a.
That's
Supertramp.
okay. I can take that.
I think we like a lot more than we dislike together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can listen to a lot of bluegrass and banjo music.
So can Larry.
He probably hates it. He seems like that
He hates it.
banjo hating type.
Hates it.
Yeah,
I bet you Larry doesn't like yodeling.
No, I'm not a big fan.
I went to a music festival once. Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show were one of the acts on the show. And that
Very
guy
good.
with the patch, Ray Ray Sawyer, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He did he yodeled. That was part of the act. And he yodeled, and then he did a double yodel. It sounded like two people yodeling at once, coming out of one mouth. And then he did a triple yodel. How this noise coming out of one man's mouth. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Ray Sawyer's with a triple yodel.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know that.
We don't know everything about music. We just
You like the Police, Mazzy?
I love the Police. You know what? I love the Police. I saw the Police a bunch of times when they first toured, and then once. I think the last time I saw them was at 80. Was it 81, 82 big tour? I never saw the reunion, but I got really bored fast with Sting solo stuff, and I have like his first 2 or 3 CDs.
The first couple were really good. When you had like Branford Marsalis in the band and Kenny Kirkland and that, they were pretty good.
But after a while, it just sort of got a little mundane for me.
So I've been really into a lot of I've been talking a lot about Sting and the Police recently on my channel. And a lot of the comments are Sting's a wanker. Do you put him in the wanker category?
No. You know, it's really funny. I don't put him in a wanker. I have no experience in that. But I love how whenever you've seen, like when they did that reunion tour and the Police were together, Stuart Copeland is kind of like me and Michael 45, where I think I like to tweak him. And you see Stuart Copeland Sting just hates that guy. And he's like I'm just going to fuck around and, do this stuff.
Yeah. They don't think they're fans. They're friends.
Sting, and I think they aren't getting along. I don't see as, I mean, anyone who can last 10 hours in bed is sexual, apparently, and tantric stuff. He must be doing something right.
It'd be cool if they went back together again and did a tour. I think they could pull it off.
Oh yeah, can you match those two together? It's like fire and water.
Yeah, that's where they say, is this album as good as they say it is? I think it is as good as
I would say Ziggy Stardust might get a favorable review.
Which album is good? I'm sorry.
Ziggy Stardust. Brian and Massey's Main Entertainment, he does this continuing theme thing where they pick an album and they say, is this album really as good as they say it is? And
Ziggy Stardust, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Supertramp, no. But Ziggy Stardust, yes.
Me and my wife saw McCartney years ago. My wife heard the Wings stuff to the Beatles stuff. Maybe it was how old was she? Was she around when the Beatles were around, or was she around, maybe in the 70s was her era?
Sting's albums sound really good. They're technically good. He's got a great voice. He's a great player. His music, I don't know. It just leaves me cold. Most of his solo stuff.
I just listened to the first 2.
Yeah, they're probably really good, right? Is that the one with the black and white cover? That first one?
The one Nothing Like the Sun is the second one, and the first one was The Dream of the Blue Turtles.
Is that the one of them with Englishman from New York?
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. It's
and the live album he did with that band called Bring On the Night is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, he's not a wanker to me.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yeah. I don't know who I got 5 more months to go to the end of the year to my end of the wankers list of the year.
Yeah.
Having a hard time this year finding wankers.
Oh,
I mean, there's
you
a lot of wankers
for the list.
Well, there's a lot of wankers not in the music business I could do, but I don't want to go there. I need to kind of keep them in the music.
I don't think you've talked about Ted Nugent, have you?
Oh, absolutely. He makes every wanker list. But, I mean, he hasn't done anything new that he hasn't done before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't keep putting the same.
New wing.
I can't do Mike Love, him. Eric Clapton's been okay lately. Who else did I do? I forget. I'm a senior citizen. I don't remember. Oh, what's the Pink Floyd guy?
Roger Waters.
Roger Waters, big wank. Well, I could put him on this year. I know he put a great record out. Apparently, it sounds really good, and he does Comfortably Numb good.
I got a buddy who told me that new Roger Waters album's really good.
Yeah,
he does some remakes of the Floyd songs.
Yeah, but to me, why don't I just listen to the Floyd songs?
That's what I say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that Neil Young video where he finds a bootleg album of his in a record store.
And what does he do?
Have you seen that, Glenn? I'll send
I
it.
think he
what does
walks.
he do?
He takes it to the counter, talks to the guy. Why do you have this or something?
Yeah.
He takes them with him. I think just walks out with them.
Yeah,
I think.
he took the album. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has a film crew with him, which is kind
Yeah.
of funnier, right?
Yeah.
I like Zappa. He used to just put them out after a while. He got so sick of the bootlegs, he made his own bootlegs.
Uma Guma.
Sam and I are from Uma Guma next week.
Sam isn't gonna like Pink
Brian, you
Floyd
can't keep
Uma
doing
Guma.
commercials for your channel on
Yeah,
here.
you
This is
can't.
Larry's
You
live
can't come
chat.
on and promote.
Yes.
I won't stand for it.
Yeah.
Roger Waters' Wanker.
Or honey, it is spelled. Hello,
Yeah.
Jazzy Panda Husky.
Jazzy Panda Husky. Yeah, 8 years younger.
Yeah, so that's why she probably likes Wings more than the Beatles.
Andy Summers is 80 plus,
Wow.
almost as old as Glen.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
That's
know what
crazy.
could be good, Glenn? I know you'll appreciate this. Maybe is you hear about this Ringo Star EP?
Yeah.
I mean, he was putting these EPs out. Why bother? But he's doing one produced by T-Bone Burnett, a country one.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect because I like his country. I like
It might be better suited for Ringo.
because him trying to do pop music and
Oh,
another
Rock
friggin'
Around
song
the
about
Clock.
when I was in
Let's-
Liverpool and I met this boy.
Yeah.
Give me a break, Ringo. But
Yeah.
a country, he likes that kind of
It
stuff.
that might be good.
They could pull it, and T-Bone Burnett's no nonsense, but has a great sound as a producer.
He does. I think he would, take that poppy sound away from Ringo and maybe make it a little
Yeah. So
spacious.
I'm hoping it's only an EP. That's too bad, but still, I'll take. That could be good.
Well, when you're in your 80s, you stop making long-term plans. So to make a full album probably is,
I guess.
you only got time to make EPs because you never know a long time.
I only have one Blue Oyster Cult record, and that's obviously the hit with "Don't Fear the Reaper." So I never really followed them a lot, but I like them. I just
They're great.
never followed them. I saw in San Francisco they did for a while. They were doing these pop-up secret concerts under Soft White Underbelly, their old name, and I saw one of those in the city. They were great live.
Yeah.
So I just don't know enough about them beyond that.
Did you ever see this guy when he was alive?
Yeah, I saw. I'm trying to think. I think I only saw him one. I saw the New York tour, the New York album tour at the Berkeley Community Theater. Only time I saw him. So that was in the early 80s, 81, 82, something like that.
Johnny Cash.
Hank Williams.
Both those.
We're going real old traditional country. Hank.
Yeah, I'd say both those two. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I like Merle Haggard a lot too, and Buck Owens.
Yeah.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Isn't that Janet?
Yep. No, that's Bob.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who is?
It's
Yeah, it's
Bob, but he has
confusing.
to use his wife makes him use her.
He can't make up his own account.
He's not allowed to have his own account.
It's like putting a quarter in a vibrating bed that ran out or something, or
Kind of. Oh my Lord, I can't read this. And he spelled
The
my name-
Illusion.
oh,
Yes, I've heard of The Illusion.
I've heard of them, but I don't know.
Yep.
What's that long-winded thing here, Larry?
Well, just a second here. Let's see this one. I'm going to start running the discography for the Flaming Lips. I'm surprised with their albums, all original sounds.
Now, how many albums could the Flaming Lips have?
they have a lot.
Really?
They do. I have about 4 or 5 of them.
I've never listened to one note.
The one to get is the Yoshima. The one.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Do you realize? That's their closest they have to
Yeah.
a hit. It's kind of psychedelic, electronic. It's really good.
I've been just going crazy over the Clash recently, and someone mentioned to me that I should listen to Mick Jones's next band, the Big Audio Dynamite. I didn't know he was in that band. Do you guys like that band?
Yeah, the first album is really good, but it's kind of more of a dancey album, but post-punk. But it's not as good as the Clash, but
yeah.
Glenn, you can read this one.
Oh, I don't have time. This is the best TV show ever, especially for a Sunday. Fun
Thank
day
you.
Sunday indeed. Which of you three tends to drive the other bonkers? Do you want to answer that one first?
Glen
I think we all get
drives me
along.
up a wall.
Yeah, we don't live together, so it's
Yeah.
I don't hang around with you guys at all, so
Yeah.
It's not like the Beatles movie Help, where they're all in the same house living together. We're not like that.
We're actually not friends.
The three music enthusiasts taught me, but seriously, Mr. Kellaway. I don't know who that is. Do you have a favorite music hall or museum? Well, I would have to say Massey Hall would be my favorite place. Mazzy?
Music place?
Yeah, music hall.
I like the Fillmore in San Francisco still. That's there. And I like the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco.
And Mazzy, do you happen to still have a copy of
Not really. I mean, I'm down to the wire, but you could like either go on eBay or Amazon. You can probably get the book for $2 or $3. It'll probably cost you more to ship it because it's out.
I bought it at an antique store for like $5.
Yeah. Beatles England, you can find it. They're around. I have people finding even signed copies that David and I signed from years ago. So it's cheap. It's out of print. It's outdated, but it's fun.
I don't have as many as Glen and Mazzy do.
I don't have. I try and keep my record collection. Like I trade stuff in because after a while I go, I don't really want this anymore. So I try and keep it to a dull roar. Like I don't want any more than like 800, under 1,000. So I've got like 6, 7.
I have over 10 albums. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
I've never heard the Mars Volta.
Somebody, I got into them a little bit because of Michael, Poetry on Plastic. They're kind of like, I'm not a big heavy metal person, but they got something different they're kind of metally, doomy, but there's a psychedelic thing to them. I have that one album, I forgot the name of it, with the head coming out. It's kind of cool, but you have to be in the mood for it. So I don't know anything about them beyond that.
I've never heard that album. I gave up on Elton by then.
I have that CD. Actually, it is pretty good, but I don't listen to it very much.
I don't listen to Elton very much. I like you said earlier, I love that whole period of albums from when he first started up to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and whatever. They're all great records, but I never listen to them.
You better sell them right now then.
$5, anyone?
Looks like a wanker live stream. Glad to see you all. Thank you, Josh DMB.
Yeah, we could all make Mazzy's list at the end of the year.
Is that the Josh D?
I'm not sure. The authentic?
Well, the Walmart greeter Josh D. Seriously.
This guy likes Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to any concerts in the future? Yes, I'm seeing Sparks with Molly July 3rd in Toronto.
Flo and Eddie are still kicking, eh?
Wow. I missed Sparks this last time around. I'm going to see the Eels in 2 weeks. And on August 1st, I'm going to see Beck.
Wow.
I am going to see, in July, I'm going to see Nickel Creek with Sarah and Sean Watkins.
Are you sure you didn't buy a Nickelback ticket instead?
Nope, not Nickelback. Okay. Nickel Creek. And then I'm going to see Tedeschi Trucks on July 19th. And then I just got tickets with my nephew to go see Steve Hackett at Massey Hall in October.
Wow. I'd love to see a show at Massey Hall. I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it's a great place. You should come up. You should come to Toronto, Mazzy. I don't know why you've never visited.
Because it's too far east for me to drive.
Oh, are you not a fly guy? You don't like flying?
I like flying. It's funny. I've only flown.
Your arms get tired?
Yeah, I've only flown twice since the pandemic. I used to fly all the time for a while for work every week almost. And I liked it. And then the pandemic, it just changed. Now when I go to San Francisco, I like driving, even though I have to stay a night in Oregon. I am driving. I'm going up to Vancouver in September. So I'll be in your country. Unfortunately,
You'll only be 3,000 miles away from us, though.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But I used to go to New York every year for work and Chicago and stuff. Just haven't, I hate the hassle of all the schlepping and everyone trying to, since since everyone's got to pay for bags now, they're trying to shove bags that don't fit in the upper thing,
and just to get on in through all the lines and everything now is just insane.
Yeah, I used to have so much mileage, which was great because then I could get a bump up to to get on early and get off first, which is kind of spoiler, but yeah.
I have a question for the Bob Dylan fans. What album should you listen to if you don't really like his voice and you want to try to get into him? So I would go to one of the more current, like Time Out of Mind to the present, somewhere that era.
Really?
I think
Blood in the Tracks is your safe bet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's accessible. It's Dylan's voice, but it's really accessible, I think.
Yeah, that's a great record. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest.
I had somebody who tried, their first album was Blonde on Blonde. I'm going, that's the hardest one, probably. It's my favorite, but
my favorite for his vocals is Slow Train Coming.
That's a good record, yeah.
And I had a guy once who got introduced to Dylan finding a CD in my car and listening to it, and he found Infidels in there and put it on and loved it. So Infidels is not a bad choice. I
mean, the first I agree that Freewheelin' and Times They Are Changing. Those is a.
We missed the wrestling question, Larry. What did he say?
Where?
WWF.
Oh, there. Okay.
Mike Aaron Sharp should have been world champion in WWF. There's a million of them should have been champion.
I know nothing about that.
They're all sitting and crying in their beer why they weren't champs. Well, the Beatles sure thought so.
Well, it's a collaboration, so it's an FFS album.
That's one I've never heard.
Yeah, I saw them actually in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a really good record?
Yeah, it's really good.
Is Sparks your favorite band right now?
Well, after the Beatles, yes.
Well, I mean, current.
And my other favorite is Yes, and then
but Captain still Beefheart. Performing.
Sorry?
Bands that are still performing
and still releasing new music.
Spartans, yeah. Yep.
Did you say Captain Beefheart?
Well, yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Oh, wow.
And Lou Reed, yeah. And Yes. Frank Zappa. Glen Kellaway from the Basement.
I understand that.
Mazzy, did you ever see Captain Beefheart?
No, I never saw him perform. I did go to an art show in New York when he retired singing. I was in New York and they had a show of his paintings.
Yeah.
And he was there, but I didn't anywhere near him but I never saw him perform.
Cool.
When did he die?
Quite a while ago.
Late 80s or early 90s, right?
Really? That long ago, eh?
Let's look. Hey Siri, when did Captain Beefheart die? Oh, 2010.
2010.
So we're both wrong.
He outlived Frank.
Yeah. Beverly Records.
When you came to Chicago, did you ever go to Beverly Records?
No.
Visiting Liverpool in November.
Very cool. Great place to visit, man. If you're a Beatles fan, you'll go crazy.
Good night, guys. You were awesome. Glenn, you were awesome.
Oh, thanks. Good night, Bill. I call William Bill. We're close friends. Yeah.
There's a lot of quiet time here.
George Carlin, yeah. Cool.
That would have been funny. He was great. The hippy dippy weatherman. And the 7 words you can't say on TV.
What are those words, Glenn?
You wouldn't want me to repeat them, Larry. And tits.
Glenn. Well.
We're all caught up in the comments?
Ooh. Is The Air That I Breathe, the best Holly song. No.
No, not even close.
King Midas in Reverse.
Wow.
Carrie Ann.
Carrie Ann's great. All
think-
those ones are
But I
bust
like that when they started getting a little psychedelic too, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Bus Stop and all those things. Isn't that written by Graham Gouldman?
The
Bus Stop?
Cosmic Torpedoes are having a reunion in August 22nd. How's that for narrowing the date down?
I don't even know who that is. Who is it?
That's me and
Nobody
Sam
does.
John
Oh,
playing together.
Sorry.
I'm driving through. I'm driving to Florida in
How come
August.
you're-
I'll
how come
be
you're
I'll
not
be in
doing this-
Roanoke, Virginia on August 22nd.
You're not doing Seattle?
What's that?
You're not doing Seattle?
No, we're not. We're not touring.
If you guys ever come down this
We're
way,
like the Beatles. We
you
just,
can.
just
I have a
studio.
flop. You can flop here. You can do a in store or
in store. Okay,
a house show.
I'll see if Sam wants to do that.
Good morning from Western Australia. Wow.
I could say the 7 words if you need to $27.99 that bad, Larry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Discogs.
I don't.
No, I mean to look at the album covers and the
Yeah, I
all the
I
information.
think it's ruined. I think everybody's an expert on selling records now. It's increased the price of used records substantially, as far as I'm concerned. Do you agree with me, Mazzy?
I don't look at it that way because I just use it to sort of catalog my collection.
But I go like there's a
Yeah.
pawn shop in Belleville, Ontario, which is like
Yeah.
10 minutes up the road from us. This guy's now he sells vinyl in there, and he's got a lot of great records in there. He will not budge on his price because he gets his price from Discogs. Like I see records in there, he's selling for $150. He won't get $150 for those
I
records.
think what you got to add, what the key is, ask: are you getting 150 from what people are asking, or from what the last 5 are sold?
Yeah.
You know, just because someone, like, if you ever go on Amazon sometimes and some wanker, there's a wanker, there we go, is selling like some weird record at $1,500 and it's worth like $6 or $50. And because it only takes one, or eBay even takes one person to buy that, if they even buy it, it's weird. So what people are asking is totally different than what.
Well, I was in a used record store the other day and I bought a box set, and I bought it at what I thought was a fair price. And the guy says, "Well, on Discogs they want this much for it." That's the first thing that came
Well,
out.
they
of his mouth.
want.
I'm
That's
going,
again. They want. What did it sell for?
Jesus, like,
Yeah.
get away from the Discogs. How much do you want for the record? You bought it for a certain amount of money. Mark it up.
Which
It's
store is this? Is it Chumley's?
What's that?
What stores are you talking about?
Well, greenbacks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you know, you could all. I mean, one thing, as I said, you could say, "Well, what did it sell for last?" And say, "Yeah, but I'm right here, well, willing to give you money right now. When is someone going to buy from you? Are you listed on Discogs? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't have Muddy Waters Folk Singer on vinyl. The guy had it on vinyl in there, and it was he wants $100 for it. I'm going, it's buddy. No, you're going to have that record sitting here forever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, sometimes they're worth. They wait for that one person that comes in. I guess, you know. I saw him perform with his jazz band. His what is it?
cool.
In New York at the Carlisle Hotel in 2005 or 6.
Does he still do that? I know he's old, but
I don't know.
Is he still making movies?
no, he stopped. He retired.
Well, I think there's 2 that haven't come out here yet because of, you know, I don't want to get on the rant here. This whole bullshit about, you know, that thing was settled over 20 years ago, and then it came up because of the whole, and you know,
documentaries.
and his stepson or whatever is, you know, someone who's done some great things in that whole realm. But you know, come on, anyway.
Yeah.
I love. He's one of my favorite directors. I love his movies.
Me too.
His last 2 I haven't seen though.
My local shops always sell used records based on Discogs, medium and sales history. Choose with the most accurate. But it's only accurate because Discogs says it is.
Well, because
There was no Discogs. Where would the guy get his price from?
Well, those are averages what they sold for.
But
you know,
if I take 100 used records into a store and the guy gives me $200 for them. In the old days, he would say, okay, I bought this record for $5 from the guy. I'm going to sell it for 10. Now he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't say, this is how much money I need to make to stay in business. Now it's, oh, what's Discogs asked for? Oh, that's $50. I'm going to sell it for $50.
I've been selling this old guy's collection. He wants me to help him. This guy, quote, Dizzy. And he started with just buy records up until 1995, like when they were cheap and some sealed, some used, not even to play. Just, he thought about maybe opening a store someday and he never did. And he had like all these records. And I've been helping him, some with auctions, some directly with people I know. And the other day, there was a sealed copy I pulled of Pink Floyd's. What's one of the big statues on the cover? The later one with
the Division Bell, or
Division Bell, and it's an original copy, and it's going for $250 to $400. And someone, I told a local guy who I know who's into records, and he likes to buy a lot of those sort of 80s and 90s rare records, and he says, I'll give you $250 for it. And I sold to him for $250. It's less than Discogs, but it's still, this guy probably spent $20 on it or $25 on it 25 years ago, and it was sealed copy.
But that's more of an exception to the rule rather than the general records. Like, you shouldn't be selling I don't know. Just I get it. Supertramp's Crime of the Century isn't worth $100 because Discogs
it's not worth 10 cents.
No.
I'm a shit disturber, sorry.
That example.
Do you think the Beatles were scared of Led Zeppelin? Maybe it was a factor in the breakup. No.
No.
They weren't competition.
I bet you they didn't even know Led Zeppelin were around.
Well, Harrison says he really didn't like what they were doing. Apparently there's a quote of Harrison wasn't into Zeppelin or didn't like it. I just think they didn't care. It was never a competition. I mean, there's a friendly rivalry with the Rolling Stones, but not really a competition.
Yeah. Small Time Crooks, great movie.
Here's a question for Mazzy.
That is for Mazzy.
But that's one of those questions too. Better photographer? It's art. It's not. There's no competition photography. However, I mean, Jim Marshall. I knew Jim, and he was a great photographer. But he couldn't light. It was all natural light, like a 35mm handheld. Right place, right time, and he had moxie or chutzpah, they call it, where he got in front of people, was able to take the cover of the Allman Brothers, the Fillmore East, and Coltrane's ballads, and the famous flipping off picture of Johnny Cash. And so great photographer. Harry Benson was a great lighting photographer, a great studio photographer and location photographer. McCartney's not a great photographer. He took pictures. Ringo took pictures. He was okay. Astrid was good. I'm not a good photographer. I have a good eye.
Linda McCartney was good.
Linda was a good photographer. Richard Avedon was a great portrait and fashion photographer. But everyone's so different, There's handheld, there's studio, there's different formats,
Yeah, but that record guide, remember the record was a Record Collector magazine that would come out once a month or once every 2. This is like a day. Now you can just go on 24 hours a day and get this instant feedback. It's totally different. You're not going to get me to agree that Discogs is.
Well, you hate shorts too.
I hate shorts.
So do I, actually. So. Who likes short shorts?
Yeah, Linda McCartney.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many great photographers. Irving Penn is one of my all-time favorite photographers.
Glen, say something.
Oh, I was reading the rest of the quotes that were coming up, or the comments that were coming up. Sorry. What can I say, man?
You guys heard this record?
Oh, Sparks have a new album out.
I think I'd have to buy
I did
that.
not know that.
So, okay, the opening
You know
track
what, Glenn? I think you would like at least some
is
of
"The
these.
Girl Is
Maybe
Crying in
half
Her
of them, at
Latte."
least.
What a great cover. So who is the girl? Do we know who the girl is? Oh,
I don't know who that is.
they actually give a credit for her. Let's see. I did notice that. I think they did. Maybe not. Well, I guess they don't. I want to know who the girl crying in her latte is. Anyway, okay. What other songs? There's Veronica Lake.
What was the one that has the video on YouTube? The first one they released.
It's the third song. Nothing is as good as they say it is.
I really liked that song when I heard it.
There's a song called Veronica Lake, the Hollywood
Yep.
movie actress with the long blonde hair, and
Yep.
a song called Escalator. The Mona Lisa's packing, leaving late tonight.
What's your favorite song, Larry? Do you have a favorite song in the album?
I would say When You Leave, because it's so funny.
I don't know the songs enough to make one.
Yeah.
Yet. You Were Meant for Me, Not That Well Defined. We Go Dancing, When You Leave, Take Me for a Ride. It's Sunny Today, A Love Story. Doesn't Have to Be That Way. And Gee, That Was Fun.
Hey, Larry, I was at we've got two record stores in the mall closest to us, and I went to both of them. Neither of them have the record on the shelf.
No.
I thought it would be kind of a popular release.
I've seen their records at the store. It's weird that wasn't there.
It's
Maybe
interesting.
It was all sold out, Glenn.
It's on Island Records, and it says made in the EU, and it's Netherlands or something.
Did you know that they just played the Royal Albert Hall for 2 sold-out shows?
I saw that. I heard it, or I read that. Yeah.
Do you buy any more CDs, Mazzy, or are you all vinyl now? Everything you show is always vinyl.
I mostly buy. I have so many CDs. I mostly buy vinyl unless it's something, a collection or something. If it's a new record I want to get, I'll get the vinyl pretty much always. There are some exceptions.
With Dylan, I bought both the vinyl and the CD instantly.
Yeah, I didn't get the CD of it. I usually do on all the Dylans, like I do on the bootleg series.
Yeah,
so I love those because usually the CDs have different or more or whatever.
Yeah, and they're easier to skip kind of tracks if they're not really listenable or whatever. Any interest in the Beatles' fellow Liverpool groups? Yeah, I was a big British Invasion guy. Jerry and the Pacemakers, all of them great. Pete Best Band, I've seen the Pete Best Band, but I wouldn't call them as part of the British Invasion.
No.
The Wild Ones, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I saw the Wild Ones with Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando, yeah, I've seen that. I love that. I love Easy Rider, but it's
Easy Rider, man. I must have saw the show a million times when that came out.
Yeah, Phil Spector's in the beginning. He's the guy that sells them.
Or
buys the cocaine from them, or sells them
right.
cocaine. He's got the limo at the airport, or near the airport.
You know what movie I saw is it's streaming on? I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's a mad world. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Man, that had every star in the frickin' planet in it. Spencer Tracy to Milton Berle to Buddy Hackett to Jonathan Winters. What a classic movie.
My favorite Beatles remix, I guess it would be my least favorite is the White Album.
It's probably Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah, Sgt. Pepper.
I think they did a pretty good job on that. I don't like the Abbey Road one.
Yeah, they didn't even have to remix it.
Not that I don't like it, but it's not as good.
Rugulator. Nope.
No.
I don't know them.
I don't know either.
Mazzy, do you know She and Him?
I know of them, but I've never heard. That's Zooey Deschanel, right?
Yeah.
Zooey Deschanel. I think I've heard the Christmas record or EP, whatever. I've heard some of that, but I don't own any of them, and I've never seen them. But I know who they are. so I don't know much.
Is that Love album by the Beatles excellent?
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this Vegas show twice, and it's
yeah,
great.
I'd love to see it.
It's. I mean, that's the best thing. Seeing it in that special design theater with the way it's sounding. I mean, it's just a fun fantasy. 90 minutes or whatever it is.
Is that not a no-brainer that Cirque du Soleil should tour that show?
No, they can't because
Really?
no, because it's a custom theater. It's literally there are speakers in the seats. I mean, it was built and renovated in that whichever Vegas hotel it is, the MGM Grand, I think, or whatever it is, for that show. That it's kind of like I've seen a bunch of their Cirque du Soleil does tour like the horse show and the the original ones and stuff. But a lot of them, like they have one in Vegas at the Bellagio called O, with this big tank of water. It's one of the most incredible live things I've ever seen, and it's in this water tank. And I mean, no way they could tour. I mean, it's built,
Okay,
the theater built for it specially. It would be a fraction of, they could be dancers doing the shtick. I mean, there's no story to it really. It's like going to the circus, but with no, there's a loose theme, but it's just
how are you guys with the Vegas residencies with all the rock stars and stuff? Is there any that intrigue you that you would like to see, or like U2's there, I think, and Aerosmith, and I don't know who else. There's a million of them.
There's no one I want to see, but I kind of like the idea. I mean, I get it when after a while, the money they save on touring and hotels and logistics. Yes, people have to go to them, and not everyone can do that. But I mean, shit, by the time you're buying tickets these days for big name acts, it ain't cheap. And if you could tie it into a vacation maybe and do other things, I don't do it. I don't think I've ever seen a band there like Elton or
no.
But I think, especially for older people, I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm trying to think who would I like. You two kind of bores me now, but I can't think of if there's anyone.
Yeah, Elton did one, right?
He did it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it started with Elvis, right?
Mr. Kellaway. People, what's it?
Maybe Supertramp. Supertramp would be a good one to see.
Yeah, it would be. I'm not a golf club, by the way, Adam. This is Mazzy and Mr. Studmuffin. Do you prefer mono or stereo or 5.1?
Just stereo.
Stereo.
Plain old stereo.
Yeah, if it's good stereo, I'm good with it. But I like mono too.
I used to have a surround when I lived in San Francisco for my TV setup and music. And I got a few of the DVDs or at the time or surround, and it was a fun novelty. And then after a while, I never listened to them again. I just like music in stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all everybody has faults or worse than faults, but yeah, they were all geniuses, I guess.
Phil Spector was a good record producer, and Chuck Berry was a good guitar player and songwriter, and John Lennon was a good songwriter. I don't know, genius.
Yeah.
I never consider people in the pop music field musical geniuses because it's pretty based music. It's not like when I think musical genius, I mean, if you know anything about people who write music, and like Frank Zappa was a genius. I mean, the man was a composer, and as a teenager went to libraries and learned about harmony and learned about he learned all this stuff himself and from different composers and stuff. But I don't know, like Miles Davis. I don't know, there's certain people I put in genius category.
Yeah. Well, he's a wanker too. He would have been a good wanker, but he's a genius. Yeah.
He would have been.
It's funny. I saw The Exorcist with 4 of my friends on the opening night in San Francisco at a huge theater. Was sold out. I didn't know what an exorcism or an exorcist was. I never knew what.
But you found out.
Oh my God. We sat like in the 10th row center of this huge theater. One of my friends the entire time had his coat like over his face and was it scared the crap out of us. What year did that come out? Like
71 or 72?
Very early 70s.
Yeah. It came out when, of course, 50 years ago, because it came out when the Tubular Bells came out, obviously, which came out in 72.
I had the exact same experience. We went the first night, and I didn't know what an Exorcist was. I just heard this movie is coming out, and it's scary. And people around us were leaving the theater, and people were horrified.
It was horrifying. I mean, this is before slasher films and stuff. I was 17 or 18.
It is a scary movie.
We walked to the car, 4 guys, 17, 18. We were so scared. There was nothing like that at the time.
I never seen so many people disturbed and get up and leave a theater in my life.
I mean,
like horror movies, I don't like them because they don't scare me. But another really scary one was The Omen.
Oh yeah.
That was
especially when the glass decapitated.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, even Jaws when it first came out, like I went to see Jaws right away too. Like that, now it looks really mechanical, but in 1974 or whenever the hell that movie came out, that I didn't have a bath for a month.
Oh god. Anyway, I just remember seeing that. It was so scary. Like
that's funny.
And it's a really good film. It's a smart film too. Well done.
I watched it not long ago, a couple of months ago. I watched it on Netflix or somewhere.
Yeah, it's and that's where they used that clip of Tubular Bells, and it kick-started that record.
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question, and this is for music fans out there. What top 10, maybe 20 pop song was playing in the jukebox? There's a jukebox in like the Harvard bar or whatever, they're in Boston, in a bar playing. What song? Well, you guys don't know.
In The Exorcist?
In there's a scene in a bar, like a pub bar, like it's Ramblin' Man by the Allman Brothers.
Oh, wow.
And I just remember it because I remember at the time that record had just come out, and like, oh, the Allman Brothers, and I to this day I just remember that. So
that's crazy.
Kind of a good try.
Bet's got any royalties from that?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's not on the soundtrack though, but it's just in that scene.
Yeah, 1973.
Yeah, scary experience.
There's some. I don't know if it was in the Exorcist document or not, in the Tubular Bells documentary or a Virgin or something about at the time there was this tape or this demo or a promo of this copy of that album, and somehow it got to William Friedkin, who directed it, and he heard that. That's when he got. So one of those lucky breaks for Tubular Bells and Virgin Records starting out, and they use that, and it gets to be this sort of theme. And every time you hear that, that's actually my ringtone. And every time you hear that, you think of The Exorcist, not more than Tubular Bells in a way, right?
That's crazy.
Oh, so I would say Laurel and Hardy for comedy.
Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, I'm not a slasher film.
I'm not either. Like, it's to make an intelligent, scary movie like suspenseful, and that is awesome. But just to make slashing and screaming and
Monty Python.
They're pretty even. So 50-50.
Monty Python.
There were sharks in the tub.
Oh, it's confirmed. So Mazzy was not lying this time.
I don't lie.
Yeah.
Not very often, at least.
We had our doubts until Joel came on and confirmed it. We were thinking you were bullshitting us. But
it's just one of those weird memories. You think, you just like sometimes. Do you have these flashbacks ever? Not drug flat, but just in general, like there's a time, like I remember certain songs, like I was driving on this street on Lombard Street in San Francisco and I heard something, and it could be 30 years ago, but I remember that moment of hearing that one song. Now I can't, if you said, how many times have you heard this, where, I wouldn't do that. But every once in a while, this association with hearing
the deja vu moment or something.
Exactly.
That mic looks a lot like Paul McCartney. Just wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That is Paul in Disguise.
Yeah, I think I did see that movie, but it was years and years ago.
That was Jim Carrey, right?
Yep, Jim Carrey.
Bob Ludwig is a genius too. Is he
I've
the guy
never
who
seen
invented
that
the
movie.
drums? The guy who invented the drums is probably the genius. Marx Brothers, yeah.
Psycho, yeah.
Well, I remember being the driving with my parents seeing the birds, and that was
Yeah.
scary. So that was earlier scary, I
Yeah.
guess. But,
Yeah.
when they had close up of the eyes being pecked out of that woman
Yeah.
in the
Oh yeah, that was a scary movie.
oh my God. And they just kind of close up like that. My parents, I mean, they could have been arrested today for child abuse after, bringing me to the drive-in.
And how about the TV show The Outer Limits?
Well, that was a different kind of creepy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Well, look at the time, Glenn.
It's 8:45 Eastern time.
We only have three more
Mazzy hasn't
hours.
even his pizza hasn't even been delivered yet. It's only 5:00.
I'm not. Yeah. I got to be out by 6.
Yeah. I think we'll be done in
If I told you who won the game, can you go bet on it now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll send you an email.
Because you're in the future.
Yeah.
Are you both in the same?
Yep.
Yeah. We're like 10 minutes away from each other.
You met.
Glenn, I'll be at your place in 10
Yeah.
minutes, okay? Just a second.
Larry we could talk for 10 minutes and Larry would be here sitting.
Yeah.
Can't you just walk through that little black line there?
Yeah. We can reach out. Just
One man's ceiling is another man's floor.
That's right. Paul
Paul
Simon.
Simon. You know what that is, Glenn?
That's your little pinky finger.
No, but when you say something at the same time, you're supposed to do a little.
No.
Is that not a Canadian? Is it an American thing?
That must be an American thing, man. So you guys are all
If you
weird.
say something
down
at the same
there.
time, you do a little pinkies, and it's like a good luck thing.
That's a weird down there. Are they allow you to do that anymore? I mean, they're taking all the books off the shelves. Are they allowed to use your pinky?
Not here. That's in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in San Francisco, so you know how I feel about all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Glen Kellaway from the basement. Tell us about your channel.
Well, I just have a channel just to entertain you and Mazzy. That's all I'm here. Glen Kellaway from the basement. I just like to talk about the records I have in my collection and stuff I'm bringing in and share my passion for music. And have a live chat every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And CD exchanges with Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin, and that's all I got.
What albums have you listened to so far besides Kraftwerk?
I have listened to Kraftwerk twice now.
Yeah.
I listened to Richard Thompson today.
Ooh,
Yep.
I like Richard Thompson.
Amnesia.
I don't remember that one.
Colosseum,
It's a good one.
Valentine's.
I don't
Street.
remember that one.
I have not listened to
Paul
Paul
Amnesia.
Weller,
Never mind. It's called.
and I
Amnesia.
listened to just a few minutes of Wire, like one of the first songs. So I haven't really paid attention to it yet.
Cool.
But
There was a
how many
joke
of you
there.
listened to it?
Amnesia. I don't remember that one. Amnesia. Do I have to spell it out?
How many of you listened to, Larry?
I think 4 of them.
4. Which
Yeah.
one haven't you listened to yet?
Which ones did you give me again?
You got the
the-
Comet is Coming. You got
Yeah,
Charles
that's the one I
Mingus.
haven't heard. Yeah.
Okay. Charles, did you like Charles Mingus without giving it away? I
I
gave him
don't know. I'm sometimes like with Kraftwerk, I'm gonna
Yeah.
need more listens. I don't know.
Yeah, we challenged each
Mazzy,
other this time.
tell us about your latest video and the album reviews you did today.
I just decided to do one on new releases, and I did. Ever heard of these guys, Sparks? I did.
Take your time, Mazzy. We've
Folk
got
rock.
an hour.
Folk Ocracy, excuse me. Rufus Wainwright, one of the children of Loudon Wainwright III. I reviewed, or I just showcased this new Bob Dylan album, live in a studio performance. I did Paul Simon's album, 7 Psalms. I don't have it right here, but I did Marty Stewart and the Superlatives.
Oh, great album. I'm loving that one.
Psychedelic cowboy, but also country western a little bit.
Excellent album.
Yeah, and I did 2 Tone Poet jazz albums, a McCoy Tyner record, and a what's his name?
Donald Byrd.
Donald Byrd album.
I sampled a bit of that too.
Yeah. So and I talked. That's pretty much it. New records instead of old stuff, and
And I'll have links for both of their channels once they pay me the $20 each.
Larry, somebody here is asking if I was in the OPP, which is the Ontario Provincial Police. Trust me, no one ever wanted me to be a cop. I would have got kicked out of that force so fast.
Yeah.
I would have had to arrest myself.
Mazzy, have you ever seen Richard Thompson live?
A bunch of times.
Wow,
Yes.
cool.
Yes. I saw him and his ex-wife Linda, and it was at the Great American Music Hall when they were kind of breaking up, and it was one of the most great but uncomfortable performances. You could tell this couple was about to end their relationship on stage, and it's a small club or smallish club in San Francisco, and they talk about working with your partner or your spouse or your significant other. I've done it, and it's not always easy.
Pinky thing was a Laurel and Hardy thing. What are your least favorite Beatles song? We already did that. Mine's Good Night.
Oh, I love Good Night. Don't Pass Me By.
I don't dislike any Beatles song. Glen can't even steal a record.
For being a cop. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Mazzy, advice on us for an inspiring filmmaker. Like Mazzy's a filmmaker.
How would I know that? Why don't you ask me? How about advice on you if you wanted to be a spine surgeon? Why don't I tell you that? I can tell you that as much.
I was thinking about climbing Mount Everest, Mazzy. Could you give me some pointers?
I could be snarky, but the one thing I'll say is this, Adam, are you a young lad? Is he a young lad?
He looks like it.
He looks younger than me.
But this is a serious answer.
Younger than me.
Intern. Get in any way you can. Don't pay for expensive art schools, films. Maybe take some classes. Maybe do it. Make films now with Max, and you can make your own things. You can make your YouTube videos. You can do things. But hang around.
Get one of these.
Yeah, and try to intern on a set, any kind of production, commercial production. It's who you know is half of it, and you can learn as you get along. The old cliche back in the old days of working in a mailroom, it kind of is true, not in that sense, but it's hanging around and watch a lot of movies, all kinds of movies, not just slasher movies or comedy, all kinds of movies. But just bother people that you like, right? Hang around. If you live in Vancouver, do you know where this guy lives? I mean, Vancouver is big production in Canada. Other places too. If you're in Tennessee, big production. Hollywood. I mean, someone's making the movies everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the best advice for anything. Intern. Don't get expensive college loans anymore. That trip I think that ship has sailed.
Good advice.
Isn't that? I mean, that's, to me, it's as you get older, you make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to be so serious on here, but
Mr. Mazzy, you're truly a godsend.
God sent me, and I'm an atheist.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, I'm agnostic, which is in the middle. This is like hedging my bets. Right?
Yeah. Thank you. And I live in Wisconsin, and my brothers live in Canada and Vermont.
Well, Wisconsin, I mean, photograph a lot of cheese. Okay.
Yeah.
You have it there. It's cheap. I don't know, but that's the thing. Like, watch movies, on YouTube. Like, listen to interviews with directors and writers and actors, and that's the kind of stuff. Get a knowledge of it, and then sneak out of your house when you're 18 and go to Hollywood or go somewhere. No, Thank you, Molly. It's not about right or wrong, but it's just people need to start doing it and stop being lazy and sitting home and, right? Start a YouTube channel. Be creative if you are creative.
Way to end it.
I got a question before I go, because I've never asked you. I don't want to get too personal, but,
12 inches, Mazzy. You asked me that before.
Didn't we did this joke before? How do I make mine 12 inches? I fold it in half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mazzy, have you ever done it with a woman?
I've had a go. I'm a goer. I have a son who's 30. I have a son who's 32 years old. So there you go. Canadian Larry Studmuffin. Where did the name come from, Studmuffin, and why? And what's the genesis of that? Because it's an easy target for a lot of reasons.
I'll tell the story again.
Yes,
Just for you.
The story.
Back in before YouTube, I was on this music-based site with Sony loops, music loops, and I used to make comedy songs there under my real name. And there used to be charts there and everything, and I used to get to #1 in the charts there sometimes. And one day I thought I should have like a name, like an artist name. I'm Canadian, so that was easy. And I'm basically a Studmuffin, right, Mazzy? So I combined the two, and I became the Canadian Studmuffin.
Wow.
Want me to take off my shirt? I'll show you.
No. I want to be the. I couldn't.
Wait, I'll take my bra off first.
The Seattle Studmuffin. I couldn't.
Yeah.
That wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I needed to ask because it's. Yeah. Thing is, it is remember. You do remember it. You do remember it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. And make sure you subscribe to their channels. And I'll have a link below the video. And look at that. Very inspiring. Glen, you were very inspiring.
Hi. It's natural. I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming on, Mazzy.
Yeah. Thanks, Mazzy.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye.